Darcy in here talking his shit. Darcy is a Detroit Lions fan, but guys, Frank Ragnow is officially retired from the NFL. He has reportedly told the Detroit Lions this week that he will no longer pursue his NFL dreams and he is retiring from the NFL. But the question that I want to ask about him, is this the retirement of Frank? Is this the real big first real crack in the Detroit Lions' rise, or will the team keep pushing forward without missing a beat if Frank Ragnow actually does retire? With that being said, guys, there's big news coming out of Detroit, and it's an emotional run, right? After 7 seasons, 4 Pro Bowls, and 96 career starts, Frank Ragnow is hanging it up. The anchor of the Detroit Lions offensive line is officially announced his retirement on Monday on Instagram, and you could feel the weight of the decision in every word that he wrote. He said, and I quote, "I tried to convince myself that I'm feeling good, but I'm not. I have listened to my body, and this has been one of the hardest decisions of my life." Guys, that is real. That's raw. And honestly, that is the NFL. When you know, you know. Frank Ragnow played through a fractured throat and partially torn pec last season, and the most severe degree of turf toe that you can have. And somehow he still managed to be second team All-Pro multiple times. And a Pro Bowler in 3 straight seasons. In fact, he didn't miss a single start the last year after week 4. And still went to battle for the Detroit Lions like nothing was wrong. But eventually, no matter how tough you are, your body crashes out. Your body cashes all of those checks. This is the kind of retirement that hits different. We're not talking about a 35-year-old aging out guy. Frank Ragnow is just 29 years old, guys. He's still playing at an elite level, but the injury stacked up and becoming something more than not even surgery could fix. In fact, he told the Detroit Free Press last season that his toe injury was so bad, surgery wouldn't help. He just had to navigate it for the rest of his career. Guys, that is brutal. Let's give credit to the Lions here, right? They gave him a $54 million extension when others might have hesitated. Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell backed him, respected him, and now they got a huge hole to fill at the center of the line. And that brings us to the tail Redledge, a second-round pick out of Georgia. A guard by trade, but now taking first-team reps at center in OTAs. He's tough, he's physical, and if you played on the Georgia line, you know that means they're battle-tested. But replacing Frank, that's just not about technique. That's about leadership, consistency, and heart. Guys, the Lions have big goals this season. They have cleared the NFC North. They have made playoff no's. They got Hutch back healthy. They got the core on both sides of the ball, but this is the first real test of that locker room's resilience since they become contenders. There's no replacing a guy like Frank overnight. But guys, just to answer my original question, no. I do not think that this derails the Detroit Lions. Frank retirement is a blow. There's no doubt about it. But this team is built to last. Dan Campbell's got culture. Brad Holmes has drafted depth. And Redledge might be the next name to emerge. Detroit's not done. So guys, in the comments below, what do you guys think? Will the Detroit Lions take a step back without Frank, or is this just another next man up moment for the Detroit Lions rising dynasty? Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. Remember, guys, we're live Monday through Friday at 9 p.m. East Coast time right here at youtube.com/manhour. Now, this is a live interactive show, so comment down below and discuss your thoughts. Old Man River says, point and simple. The Detroit Lions have this mentality of next man up. You're right, old Man River. Last season they went through 24 guys on the IR, 19 of them on the defensive side of the ball. It's always next man up. You are 100% saying right. But my opening speech was geared toward this. He is only 29 years old. It is only June. We still have July, August, and September. I bet you once the preseason games start to hit, he'll get that little bit of itch. Once the second preseason game starts to hit, he'll get the itch a little bit more. Once the third week and that bye week come into play, he'll be like, hey, Coach Campbell, what's up, brother? I bet you we see Frank Ragnow back on the roster sooner than later. Alpha Rob says, you got to listen to your body. And Alpha Rob, you are 100% correct. There are a lot of players that do not listen to their body. Prime time, Deion Sanders, right? Did not listen to his body. Look how quickly he fell off. Michael Irvin, same way. He actually did listen to his body, just a little too late. You always got to listen to your body because Father Time is undefeated and those body checks always get cashed. James says, tough hit for the Lions. He waited so long, called it. He waited so long, call it. I'm not for sure what you're saying there, James. Help me out. Real McCoy says, Frank sees the writing on the wall. Detroit is on the slide. There we go, Real McCoy. I've been waiting for somebody to say it. I've been waiting for somebody to be like, hey, you know what? The Detroit Lions did lose their offensive coordinator in Ben Johnson. They did lose their offensive coordinator in Aaron Glenn. People's contracts are starting to come up a little bit, right? Yes, I understand they got money to play, whatever, yada, yada, yada. But think about this. Go to the NFC Championship game 2 seasons ago. Last season, first round exit. This year, got one of the toughest schedule in the NFL. Winning cures all, right? When you are winning and you're having fun, that turf toe hurts a little bit less. That partially torn pec hurts a little bit less. That broken throat, joint, whatever he had, hurts a little bit less. But once you're 4-4, once you're 5-5, 8-8, struggling to make the playoffs, that hurts a little bit more. Real McCoy, you might be onto something, brother. You might be onto something. Real Ball Talk with Willie Jack says they're definitely taking a step back. They lost both coordinators and now Frank. Remember the Eagles after losing the OC and DC in the same season. Willie Jack, I do remember that the Philadelphia Eagles went to the Super Bowl, lost to the Chiefs, and the following season they lost Shane Steichen and the Arizona coach Jonathan Gannon, right? They did lose both of their guys. I also remember them starting 11-0. Now, the season ended with the one and done and losing 5 of their last 6, right? But I do remember them starting 11-0. A lot of that was because of Nick Sirianni. I did not like Nick Sirianni. I still don't like Nick Sirianni. It is not because he's a bad X's and O's coach. I think he's a great motivator. I think he's a great X's and like O's coach. But once things start to happen, once a little bit of crack starts happening in Philly, he blows it out of proportion. You can have a little mortar crack on your brick, and he is going to go in there with a jackhammer and break down the whole wall to build it back up again. When you could just put a little bit of cock on it. So, with that being said, yes, I do agree with you. I do think they will take a couple steps back. Real Talk with Willie Jack says Sirianni went from Super Bowl runner-up to almost being fired 1 season later. That is facts. That is 100% facts. And it is crazy that it went that bad that quick. But look how quick they rebounded, right? Last season, they're 2-2 heading into the bye week. Next thing you know, they didn't lose for the rest of the season. What? What the what? Right? It is what it is. All right, guys. So apparently we're having some internet connection issues. So hopefully this has been resolved. We have switched over to the backup ISP. That is the internet service provider for your non-IT nerds out there. But hopefully we do get back today because we got a lot to talk about.